Welcome back to Rev It Up Bowling. My name is Jason Robarge, and today we got another ball review for you. What we're going to be reviewing today is the brand new Fireball Pearl from Ebonite. This is their new addition to their lower end equipment. This is going to be something for your more avid bowlers, more like maybe like a burn ball or transition ball, or for your beginners, just something nice and pretty and does the job. This sports the 11.2 GB Pearl cover stock, along with a 2.519 RG in a 15 and 2.539 RG in a 14, both sporting a .038 differential. Naturally, this ball itself doesn't flare a ton, and the layout I put on it, which was a 5.5 by 60, is my burn layout. I wanted something that's a little bit before my actual burn ball, which is Sneak Attack Hybrid. It has a lower RG, or sorry, higher RG, lower differential. This has a little bit higher, but I wanted something kind of like right before it. I'm not balling down so quickly. One thing we're gonna be doing in this video is we'll be changing surfaces. One of the things I realized, I've been preaching surface forever now, is in ball reviews, we throw this ball and we know with surface, after about 6 games, whatever surface you had on it, definitely at the surface that's currently on it. I've been marketing bowling balls as they are out of box. However, those surfaces are gonna change very quickly, and also you're gonna need to resurface after just a few games. So what we're gonna be doing today is we're gonna be throwing it out of box, 1500 compound, which is one of my favorite surfaces. And then we're gonna be putting some 4000, knock the shine off, and then put in some 2000, make it a little bit duller, and we're gonna compare those. Without further ado, let's get into it. Gold and purple. Like most ball reviews, we're gonna kind of start right, move our way left, see where this plays, change the surfaces, compare them. As I mentioned before, I kind of put this as a burn layout. I try to increase the RG with the 5.5 as much as possible, but make it a very smooth transitioning bowling ball. So we're gonna see if that kind of accomplished it. I still think it's gonna be too strong for a burn ball, but that's okay. We have a kind of a transition ball. Nice. All right, so compared to some of the other equipment I have thrown, these are some of the weaker balls I have thrown on the channel. Right now, I'm about 8 right of where I typically stand. Now, I did give that one some juice just to make sure it stayed on the right side of the head pin. But that looked pretty good, pretty smooth. With that 60 val, makes it very, very smooth. And remember guys, with a low diff bowling ball, they're gonna want to be cleaner through the fronts, and depending on how you have it laid out, they can be pretty snappy, they can be pretty rolly, up to you as far as the break point goes, but the common denominator is they'll get through the fronts pretty well. All right, so we're gonna move just a teensy bit left. I figured playing this far to this close to the dry, if I get it right early, it's checking and it's going. It's a pearl too. Remember, pearls, more specifically shiny bowling balls like this one, are gonna respond quickly to friction. All right, let's move a little bit farther left. I do want to get this blended a little bit more. It's a little quick to respond because I'm in that friction a lot, but let's see what moving left a little bit does. Oh. So you guys watch that shot over again. It responded very quickly on the back end. With low diff bowling balls, or with any bowling ball in particular, the more typically left you move, but the more you move into oil, keep in mind, ball's gonna store more energy. It's gonna make it a little bit sharper on the back end. So if you're leaving those flat 10s, you have great ball motion, but the ball just doesn't have enough at the pocket, maybe move left or move into oil a little bit more. Remember, it's all about energy. So when we move left into oil, it's gonna store more energy. It's gonna have more for the back end. That wasn't too bad. Again, it's a little too sharp for me. As we move left, it's probably gonna get a little sharper, but we'll see what it does. So that was standing on 20. Move a couple more left. A little bit better, a little bit better. That one came with the back of a little bit, but as we see, this ball isn't strong, and it gets down lane very well. In combination with that 11.2 Pearl cover stock, and also the 5.5 pin to pap for me, that RG has definitely been increased, and the differential is probably about the same, maybe a little lower than what it is out of box, but it definitely makes it longer, sometimes sharper, sometimes a little smoother. This ball is gonna like friction. I think it's gonna be a little allergic to oil just because it's a weaker bowling ball, but we're gonna check that now as we move left some more. Just scoochy left a little bit. I'm waiting for it to miss the pocket, but I think it's just gonna keep getting sharper. It wasn't the best shot in the world, leaked it right. We're gonna go ahead and redo that shot a little bit. Yeah, if you guys are looking for like that transition towards burn side of a bowling ball, this would be pretty good for it. It's gonna like friction. And if you especially deal with a lot of early hook in the heads or even in the mids, bowling balls like these could be pretty good for you. It's not throw it like crap. All right, not too bad. Slow down a little bit. There's some decent recovery, but the more I get into the dry, the smoother it gets. With this type of layout, 70 val, when it sees friction, it wants to roll off of it, not flip off of it. And that's why I like this layout for burn equipment is usually when it's burned, there's plenty of friction. We need something that blends the friction. Higher val number, at least for me, works pretty well, along with that longer pin to pad. So let's go ahead and throw one more, and then we're gonna change some surfaces. Finally, I got it inside, Jesus. That looked pretty good, pretty far left, decent recovery. Again, house shot, you can play so many different angles, but that looked pretty good. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna take the shine off of it. We're gonna put it at 4,000 and just kind of see what it does. Shouldn't make a drastic difference, but if I had to guess, a little bit slower, and it's gonna change the entry angle to be a little bit more shallow. So let's go ahead and do that. Mosquito. Put that in the bloopers. Is the camera on for that? Now that we've taken this ball down to 4,000, it was at 1,500 compound, as I mentioned before. Probably not gonna be much of a difference, but if I had to guess anything, a little bit slower to respond because it has technically a little bit more friction in a way, 1,500 more friction, but compound takes away. Anyways, so if I had to guess, it's probably pretty dang close. It won't be anything crazy different, but when we get to that 2,000, you're definitely gonna see a difference. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and throw a shot exactly where I just was, and then we're gonna move across the lane for just a few shots. Aha, so obviously with the layout, with what type of ball it is, it's still sharp. Like, yes, we took some shine off of it. However, if you do watch the videos back to back, what I saw was it was a little bit smoother to transition, but it still flipped pretty hard. So let's go ahead and move right a little bit. I feel like that's gonna be better for this, just a little bit. All right, not too bad, not too bad. We're up 10, it is what it is. Definitely a little smoother, I will say. Is it a massive difference? No. However, the difference between what the first surface was and this current surface can make all the difference when you're bowling a tournament. Again, keep surface in mind. Let's go and throw one more. Move a little bit farther right. Again, house shot, you can play so many different angles anyways. Oh, that's hooking. Oh, that smoothed out quite a bit, actually. A little bit more surface, especially when I get into the friction, which is right. It definitely blended the ball out more. It's not so quick, especially when in all that friction. The first shot, when I was a little bit farther left, had a lot more head oil. The ball stored more energy. It was much more flippier. On this shot, we move right. We're in the dry a little bit more, and it definitely blended that shot out. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna throw a nice 2,000 onto it and do the same thing. Be back in a second. All right, now that we're back, we have nice 2,000 on it, as you can tell. It is pretty dull compared to what it was. I mentioned I drilled this for burn transition. This type of surface, probably wouldn't use it for burn transition. That's how important surfacing is. So it's definitely not the right surface for what I'm trying to use it for, but this is a ball review. You can do whatever you want. I'm gonna go ahead and start where I was left on that first shot with the second surface and then move right a little bit. Oh, hello. That was a miss big time. Yeah, even I miss 7 boards right sometimes. I'm gonna go ahead and throw another shot. However, that blended the friction out pretty well. You can definitely tell it hooked much earlier. I don't say much, couple feet. It's still quick to respond-ish because of what it is as a bowling ball, but it's definitely smoother. All right, let's go and throw that same shot again. Nah, toss it out the window. Oh, I tossed out the window. All right, well, that ball likes to be wheeled now, and I can't throw it straight, so that's fun. They look good. We're gonna move right a little bit, see how it blends the friction out a little bit more. If I had to guess, we might get to the point where it's just too much friction on the ball with the lane, and it's gonna hook pretty early or burn up. We'll see when we get to that point. Not throw it straight at the gutter. Oh, much better. All right, so that one, I threw it right, or I threw it correctly, I should say. Definitely slower to respond. However, still symmetric, likes to continue through the pocket, i.e. almost left a 9-pin. So we're gonna move right a little bit more, but if I had to guess, it's gonna hook too early, too far away from the pocket, and there's too much distance between when this ball hooks and the pocket, and it's gonna go left. Let's see what we get. Pick the speed up a little bit. All right, this ball likes to strike. I did throw it harder to make sure it worked. I'm gonna go and throw one more just to see what it does. I'll move a little bit farther right. But so far, very versatile, I will say. I expected this ball to kind of be a one-trick pony. Honestly, it's pretty versatile. Kind of nice. It kind of reminds me of a little bit sharper Sneak Attack Solid. The hybrid definitely had a weaker cover stock than this, so it's harder to compare. But the Solid had a pretty aggressive cover stock. Even though one's solid, one's pearl. But we'll move right a little bit more. All right, I think we finally reached the limit. If you guys are looking for a pretty versatile, I just found out, which is kind of cool, a versatile kind of transition, maybe a burn ball if you're a little bit lower rev rate. If you're looking for that type of shape, this will definitely be the ball for it. If you're looking for something for heavy oil, probably not it. However, if you're more heavy-handed, you could probably throw it on a little bit fresher, higher volumes. If you're a little bit lower rev rate, you could probably use it for your house shot. Even high rev rate, definitely for your house shot. So far, what I've seen, I'm probably gonna try to throw it on house shot now. Personally, I liked it at like 4,000. The compound on house shot was a little bit too skid snappy. The 4,000 was kind of nice, it blended it, but it still gave it some pop. The 2,000, I could see it with some lineage here, just be a little bit too much friction on the right side, maybe plackle a couple tens. But overall, I'm very impressed with this ball so far. If you guys are interested in the new Fireball Pearl, it is coming out in here in a few weeks. Pick one up at your local pro shop. If you guys have any comments, please let us know. This kind of bowling ball is pretty versatile, like I mentioned, so it should fit a lot of people's games. Also, please let us know if you like the surface changing. I feel like it makes a ton of sense. Like I mentioned before, the stock surface only lasts 3 to 6 games or so, right? So you're gonna be changing it regardless. This kind of gives you an idea on where you can kind of go with the bowling ball. It becomes pretty dang versatile once you start changing the surfacing, which again is the #1 thing to ball mode. So if you guys liked the video, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel way more than you may think. My name is Jason Robarge. This is the review of the new Fireball Pearl. Much love, peace.